Coming up on Look Today, well, Congresswoman Elise Stefanik held a press conference in Wilton today as part of her results tour. I've got details. And Traverse Day weekend in Saratoga Springs saw a record-breaking victory. More on that coming up. Plus, the Warren County Historical Society held an event to promote its educational programs. We were there. I've got details. It's all ahead on Look Today. Welcome everyone, I'm Jay Hood Jackson and this is Look Today. In tonight's program, I sit down with Cheryl Hage-Perez. She's the Executive Director of the Saratoga County RPC Vet Help, and she's here to talk about the Malta 5K race that will raise funds for programs to help our military veterans. And I'm also on location at Ellis Medicine, and I sit down with Dr. Andy Noab. Now, this is part one of our discussion concerning heart disease with a focus on women. Plus, we've got your weather for the Tri-North counties, but first, these headline stories. Well, in our lead story, our Congresswoman, Elise Stefanik, held a press conference today in Wilton. Now, the Congresswoman was joined by representatives of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, the Saratoga County Chamber, and other business leaders. Well, this conference was part of Stefanik's results tour and U.S. Chamber of Commerce endorsement of the Congresswoman. The press conference was held at D.A. Collins Companies, which is a construction company that builds important infrastructures in our area. Congresswoman Stefanik is a big supporter of business in our area. We were at the press conference where she spoke.
I'm so honored to be endorsed by the U.S. Chamber for re-election. I'm proud of my 100% rating from the U.S. Chamber. I have the strongest lifetime rating out of anybody in the New York delegation, and that's something that I take very seriously. The health of our economy is dependent upon the health of our small businesses, the health of our manufacturers.
In other news, the Warren County Historical Society held an event on Saturday to promote its education on history and the local arts. The event took place in Glens Falls and promoted the many programs the Historical Society has to offer. Now, this was the first year for the promotional event, and they hope to bring more people in the future. Well, we were there, and we spoke to Jeff Hamblin. He's a trustee and board member for the Warren County Historical Society.
This is our first event. Hopefully we can do this as a yearly program for the Historical Society. I figure if we can promote the people ahead of us, the people below us, to know who they are, and we can make it a family fun day and a little sharing of history with everybody.
Well, that's a great idea. Switching from news to weather. Temperatures today were in the low 80s. What a day. And tomorrow is expected to even be better. So let's see how the week is shaping up. For a more detailed look at our weather, we're going to head to the Glens Falls Weather Center for a look at your first forecast. And back to the news. Well, the 147th annual Traverse Day race saw a maximum attendance. Guess what? 50,000 people. And this year's event broke a new record. Arrogant took first place this year with the fastest time in the race's history. And the Saratoga Racecourse will also be undergoing a $170 million upgrade. Now, that's going to include a 3-story clubhouse. Now, before any work can begin, by the way, New York Racing Association has to get approval from the franchise board. Now, other upgrades are in the works, and believe it or not, are going to take place over a 10-year period. In other news, numerous fire departments responded after an explosion occurred at 41 McCrae Street in Queensbury. The house was engulfed in fire, and fire departments were at the scene immediately. Unfortunately, due to the severity of the fire, nothing was salvageable. However, no injuries have been reported. Well, we spoke to Brenda Mallory. She lives in the neighborhood.
I heard like a boom, and that's what woke us up. And we come out, and it was that was all engulfed.
Up next, I sit down with Cheryl Hage-Perez. She's the Executive Director of the Saratoga County RPC Vet Help, and she's here to talk about the Malta 5K race that's going to raise funds for programs to help our military veterans. Plus, I'm also on location at Ellis Medicine, where I sit down with Dr. Andy Noab. Now, this will be part one of our discussion concerning heart disease with a focus on women. But first, if you see news happening, you want to share a story idea. How about join us for an interview? Give us a call on the hotline. The number is 798-8000. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Look Today. Well, I've got some lookouts tonight. First one goes to Arrogate, the horse that won Travers. How's my horse? 11-1, paid 25 and change. And I got news for you. When they came around the final turn, it was all him. And the place went crazy, and a lot of people were surprised. And a second lookout, over the next couple of weeks, actually quite a few weeks, we're going to be on location at Ellis Medicine, interviewing a number of doctors about issues that we know that you're concerned about. And part two of that interview I did today with Dr. Noab will be the Monday after Labor Day week, if you follow that. And last but not least, it was 50 years ago today that the Beatles played their last concert on stage in front of the public in San Francisco. And you're probably saying to yourself, what's that got to do with our region? Well, I know that Bob and Lorraine in Hudson Falls would want to know that. Tonight on Look TV, it's Beyond the Headlines and Tracks, our music show. And don't forget, tune in tomorrow night for the stories that matter to you. Good night, everyone.